Our dear viewers, today is a Monday, and every Monday we're here, The Code, your preferred men talk show. We're here today again, as usual, and every Monday, don't you ever miss. Today we have a very interesting topic, and as usual, our topics are to delve deep into the men's opinion on quite a number of things. Of course, not sports, men's sports, and we know we have the Africa Cup of Nations ongoing and quite a number of other things. But on this particular one, today we have a very interesting topic, and we're delving deep into the issues of mental health. Mental health. Today we're discussing mental health. It is a factor that has a very big impact on men and on women. But today, as usual, as The Code, we are discussing the men. So, mental health challenges that men face in our societies and out there. I remember some time back, was it last year? We were faced with a newspaper headline that about 14 million Ugandans are mad.
Have mental health problems. But it's on a spectrum.
About 14 million Ugandans are mad.
And that's all that could be captured. Could be more.
There could be more.
Yeah.
Oh,
14 million.
People struggling with
the prevalence is.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I understand. 14 million Ugandans are mad. I was mad. That is what was it?
But the degree varies.
The degree varies.
It is the degree that varies, but
oh, so when they say mad, it's not the Butabika mad.
It is not the Butabika mad, but you could be mad. Sorry.
There are many people who are mad, but others are throwing stones.
I understand.
Throw stones, others are do all manner of things.
Yeah.
So, as usual, I have my guest. Yes. I have my panelist, Mr. Livingstone. Mr. Keith is still in hibernation somewhere.
That one.
He'll be back. He'll be back online. I have Livingstone. I have Livingstone, and I have a very qualified guest.
Right.
He's going to tell us his names. I know a lot about him, but I'll prefer he does that himself. I may trigger in a few things that may annoy you, sir. I don't want to be offensive, Mr. Martin. Mr. Livingstone, say hi to our viewers in just a second, and then Mr. Martin.
Yeah, good evening, viewers. It's good to be here again. It's a Monday, and as usual, we are discussing men. Yes, so enjoy the show. And I urge the wives out there watching us, just make sure that your husband is tuned in and, glued to your screen as we discuss men stuff.
Okay. Great. Mr. Martin.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here. My name is Martin Amanya. I am a counseling psychologist.
Okay.
I work at Safe Places Uganda. And also one of the things that part of my heartbeat passionate about is advocacy for mental health for men.
Okay.
So actually today what I posted on my status on WhatsApp, I said mentality Mondays. There's another guy also posts things on Mondays and it's called Man Christ Monday. And it was about addictions, that to think that you're going to achieve a change that you're not participating in practically is like waiting for a ship at an airport.
We are going to go into that. Thank you so much. Mr. Martin Amanya?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Martin Amanya, he's an expert in mental health. Livingstone is an expert in marketing, and he's an administrator. He's a very big man. You're looking for a marketing guru around Kampala? He's here.
He'll sell your goods in a minute.
But by the way, I think I've done mental health somewhere with Mental Health Uganda. Yes, it was something on the side. Yes, so you never know.
You were doing procurement for them. He was doing procurement for them.
No, it was serious mental training.
But it's quite broad, and we've gone to a level where really it has to become everybody's priority, that everybody can throw in their contribution, however small, as a parent, as a father, as a CEO, as a person of responsibility somewhere. So when he says he's been part of an engagement that's been really about mental health and helping people, it could be in some way.
I understand.
And we're doing it, all of us here, even when someone is not necessary.
Thank you, Martin. My name is Chula Philemon, as usual, your host, sitting in for Keith. Today, Mr. Martin, as he said, he's going to take us deep into the technicalities, how best to understand mental health, how to break it down, how to break the different layers of societal expectations to give us what it should be in reality, to break down societal stereotypes like men should be tough, men are hot, and the rest. For example, I am an accountant. There is an accountant, auditor, a tax person. So as though we're taken to be very tough. That there is no situation that should break you down in whatsoever.
Yeah.
You
Should
get
be
it?
on top of your game.
Yeah. So even the type of profession, much as we occupy these professions with women, men are expected. Omusajja omukazi bw'alemererwa, they expect a man to come in. Yeah, that should have been a man. That even when a woman acts tough, they will say that woman is acting like a man.
Yeah.
They used to say that on Theresa. Is it Theresa something? The Prime Minister of England. After that war in the Falklands of Argentina, they said the woman is acting like a man.
Or they termed them iron ladies.
Iron ladies, exactly.
Or the woman is manly.
The woman is manly. You see, I've had some call themselves the king herself.
You know.
Right.
Because everything that's associated to manliness is strong, is hot, and everything. To start with you, Mukulu Livingstone, do you think with what the stereotypes notwithstanding, do you think mental health discussions and concerns are important discussions we should have in our society today?
Exactly. I think it is extremely important to actually be given a priority. Yes. Why? Because we live in the same world, just like the women. Yes. And you see there are very many pressures of life that hit us left, right, center. And it is not avoidable. Yes. So it is something that should be considered. Why? Because there are many things that have come up, there are many lifestyles, the many things that, you know, modernity has come with a lot.
But Livingstone, our traditional environment back then, our traditional society dealt more with harder things than we're dealing with today.
Right.
Why do you think it is important today? Oh, back then they just used to ignore, but it was there in a society.
It was still there, only that when you think about it, the lifestyle, a lot of things have changed today. Yes. The pressures we used to have back then are not the pressures we have today. Yes. And the expectations of life. So much as we call it the Afrocentric. Yes. And then the Eurocentric or modernity in this case. So there are many things that have kept on coming up. You see that, and trust me, because we have a community that has known, you know, mastered a particular way of embracing some of these, we've ended up as victims in a way.
Okay.
Yes.
But you see, in today, your son, you have a son, right?
Yeah.
Today, your son walking to school would cause depression. They call it depression one of these days. Yeah, depression. Who said that? Was it some artist? Depression. So today your son walking to school would cause a bit of depression to him. Back then our brothers and us walked distances, long distances.
I personally walked a long distance.
So why did it,
moreover?
So why did it cause depression to you like it's causing depression today? Don't you think we are spoon feeding our boys under the guise that we are protecting them, we are solving their mental health issues, and don't you think those are European things that should not be African anyway? You
know, there are lifestyles that we normalized then. Why? Because it was a societal thing. Yes, because it was not only happening to me, but also to the neighbors and the rest of the other people. Because I remember the school I went to in, I should say, P2, P3. No one was being dropped off in a car. We're all, you know, going on.
You are not alone.
Fort Subish. You see that? Unlike today. And then I remember where I sat my primary, PLE from, just here in Chivoli, Police Children's School. We had only one student or pupil who used to be delivered in a car. You see that? Yes. So that made us feel inferior in a way. You see that? Yes. Because we're like, maybe our parents didn't do enough, or maybe we're just unlucky, or so there is a lot that runs in your mind that why me and not the other person. Yes.
But you see, even our system is built in such a way that a man has nowhere to run to. A man has no refuge when it comes to mental health challenges.
Right.
That in whichever aspect he goes to seek for hope, he's laughed at. He's seen it is a sign of weakness when a man is seeking help to address his mental health issues. So Martin, just to ask, because I'm afraid Mr. Livingstone here might confuse me with a real mental health issue and Chejo. What are the statistics there? What is the prevalence?
There's really
because from what I have heard, we have about 53 psychiatrists in Uganda. That is like one psychiatric per a Ugandan.
you know.
Per a Ugandan, with a few nurses here and there. What are the cases out there? How serious is the issue?
And the mental health goes beyond what people look at out there as I think people think mental health problems are these kinds of conditions where someone is running on the street naked or something. That's what they think. When you hear people have this generalization of saying someone who has a mental health problem, they are mad. There are people even now that you are working with at your workplace. There are people you met in your today's work.
Right.
There are people I've been with on the table. We have been in a training who have some underlying mental health challenges.
Me, that headline scared me.
They may just be low, and when they are attended to, someone may get to be able to, be in the right mental state and be able to operate and function fully well. Others may just be at the tip of actually almost, losing it.
That's true.
But they think they are holding it until actually that one moment that sparks them up or that thing that triggers them.
That's true.
So the percentage is around 40%. Men who don't get to speak about this because, like you mentioned, the stereotypes of them thinking they're weak, that they're, when they talk about those, they will not be looked at as men. They will lose their position at work.
Sign of weakness.
A sign of weakness, or at home, the wife will start thinking. And there are women actually also who don't appreciate these things. I'm talking about women, like you mentioned, that women should watch this show. I mean, sisters, grandmothers, aunties, mothers should watch the show and get to know that actually even boys. And we're not talking about, when we mention men, maybe think a category of over 20 years, men who are changed the place of maybe marrying or work or finished university. We're talking about
even teenagers.
Right mentorship from when the child is a boy. You must have had a full blown out attention to girl child. And
that's true.
Until now.
And there's what the treatment is different. They would even say,
the boys, are now.
For you a boy.
Exactly. They're left on their own. And this is the products we are having when they become men. Because if they were not told what to do, or mentored, or helped, when they were boys growing up to, it's what someone gets when they're a boy that moves and transits them to what they do when they're a man.
And Mukulu Martin, we've even created so much jokes around it.
Yes.
That when a man is moving around talking to himself, he's talking to the ancestors.
You get men spending longer time at play toughs, at clubs, drinking, at hangouts, because they have some challenges they're dealing with. They can't be able to open up to someone. So actually they find that as a safe haven to stay longer there, and then they rather would just go back home, late when you can't be able to run a conversation, when they find people have slept or something. Or even our own brothers at school, the things they are going through, struggling in some relationships, or maybe they have stress about the coursework they are going through. But people think, look, it should be normal. You don't know what to do. You should know what to do as a man. You should figure out. Actually, we
but
do
you
not
see,
know.
the issues of mental health, even how people define it out there, it's quite a sensitive topic, and hard to dive into it deeper. It's just like climate change.
Right.
These are topics that people just hear the words and they take it in their own caution. There's a way they dress it, and
I think apparently.
so I want to ask.
Yes.
according to what you've said, because I'm picking a few things, maybe personally I couldn't even know what, I did not know what exactly it meant. I thought when they say people are mad, 14 million, hey, people are throwing stones around. So mental health is basically, if I can't be in charge of my mental ability to hold stress, to hold challenges, to address a few issues here and there, I am not okay.
Yeah.
My mental health is not positive.
So mental health is a whole body of knowledge. But what we talk about, the challenges are the ones we refer to as mental illnesses. And these vary from one to another. And their degree and their effects varies from one to, it is on a spectrum. So when people talk about mental health, it is a broad concept, but then they're talking about one's general health and well-being, and then that they're looking at the cognitive, the psychological, the mental, they're looking at one's emotional state, well-being, whether they're in the right emotional state, and then that informs the social relations, how I relate to people around me, and that how that is going, well or not well, that's where we say someone's mental health is having a problem.
Thank you.
Someone's wellness is having a problem. Then they need help, and then we can come into help.
Okay. Dear viewer out there, Mukulu Martin has tried to break it down for you, what mental health is.
Yeah.
What you could be thinking that is a normal occurrence into your life, maybe it's something that you should seek help very fast. Yes. So I'm coming back to you to discuss how and when a person should seek help. Yes. Mukulu Livingstone, in your own understanding, in a general perspective, you are not a practitioner in the mental health industry.
Right.
But I want to understand, in your own perspective out there, even after understanding that men actually suppress their own emotions.
Feelings and stuff.
They suppress their own emotions because of society norms. They're in fear that once they express those emotions, they will be called weak. We've been called weak by our wives. We've been called weak by our mothers, who keep saying, you get it? And then your wife laughs at you because you're chickening out. She even goes to the social media. Oh, status. She even goes to the status. You get it? In your own perspective, when was that? Okay, just to bring it to you in your own understanding and perspective, when was the first time you felt you needed help? And what really occurred to you that someone out there would be like, hey, so I'm also going through the same thing. It may be before you got married, or even after you married, or even workplace issues, and the rest.
Yeah, thank you
even
so much.
Football.
I think now this is all about giving a personal testimony. Yes, well, there are pressures in life. Yes, right from childhood as we grow up. Yes, and that does not only happen to, a man, but any other person. Because we might not be able to dictate how life treats us. Yes, because life will hit you differently. Yes, and you have to embrace it as is. Yes, so your failure to embrace life as is, and then you allow the pressures of life put you down and suppress you, is failure to uphold your mental ability. Very important. Yes, but you see, many of us, you have experiences in life that you've been through. Martin here has. I equally have. Yes. And of course, I've been to somewhere. I'll give you an example. I didn't grow up with my father. Yes. To me, I felt, very suppressed. And growing up, through school was extremely tough. Very tough. Really tough. Yes. Because I was raised single-handedly by my mother. Yes. It is not chejo, but what I'm trying to put across is that she was available more than my father. Yes. So, of course, at some point, I kept on wondering, why would my father be away?
Where is he?
Yet he is able. Not that he was struggling, not that he didn't have the money, but absent fathers. Absentee fathers, yes. So that alone, to me, affected me in a way, but of course I had to put up with it. Yes, because there's no way you can drag an absentee parent into your life.
Thank you.
Yes, so that alone affects a child. And then as you grow up, you need to come to terms with it and learn a particular way of going around it. Yes, and today, I have learned to be available for my children.
Exactly.
I am in their lives. Why? Because I don't want what happened to me to happen to them. And trust me, you can ask my wife, my children are overly in my life.
Okay.
Yes.
That is good.
I play with them. I am
Create time
available
for
to them. Trust me, even if I'm going home, I feel so guilty to get home without at least
basically not to allow what you went through.
Exactly.
What you go through. Thank you so much.
That means that I came to terms with it. I acted and dealt with it. I dealt with it. So I didn't allow it to define me.
Okay, right
or
there.
affect me in a way.
Right there. Thank you so much. Dear viewers, after the break, Mr. Martin is going to take us through when and how does a person realize that they need help, and how men have been seen in society as people who are weak when they are trying to seek help in regards to mental health concerns. How then can we discuss these issues? This and more after the break.
Bethany TV for health. The Higher Life, the era of the Word Revolution, with Apostle Dr. David Kunawa and Pastor Rita Bella Kunawa of Rivers of Life Assembly International, Boston, Massachusetts, USA. Streaming every Tuesday from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. East African Standard Time, with the incorruptible, incomparable, and revolutionizing, life-transforming Word of God. Only on Bethany TV for health.
Child health and well-being, the foundation for a bright and promising future. Join us for exciting episodes aimed at optimizing our children's physical, mental, and emotional health with our team of experts, including pediatricians, nutritionists, and child psychologists, every Wednesday at 8 p.m. on Bethany TV.
Bethany TV for health. Are you ready for this good news? You can now watch Bethany TV on Yo TV, Afromobile, and Airtel TV apps. Yes! Catch the finest programming prescription for everybody, wherever you are, whenever you are. Bethany TV for health. Showing on Bethany TV.
Why do we get sick?
That lack of knowledge it's a very, very big problem.
What can we do to avoid becoming sick?
From hospital and you're fine, you don't disappear. Come back after 6 days. We do an assessment. How is your blood pressure? How are you doing? How are you coping up with motherhood?
Here's an opportunity to learn about some of the common illnesses and how to avoid them.
Don't overuse your knee joint.
Buli muntu yenna aina obulwadde obwa diabetes, obwa pressure, yetaaga eye check-up.
Get all your health questions answered by a health expert.
Only on the new series of Health and Wellness. Every Saturday, 8 p.m. live on Bethany TV with your host, Dorothy Ainembabazi. Bethany TV for health.
Most welcome kind and good viewer out there. This is the code once again. My name is Chula Philemon Salongo, together with Livingstone Waswa, my son.
Go make me one.
And Mr. Amanya on the other end. We are discussing mental health. From the discussions we've had, I have realized there's a lot we've been missing, and I think with mental health discussions, I think there should be even more hours to discuss these things. I mean, it's as important as climate change. There are those nine painful but far-reaching and very impactful in our lives.
That's true.
Yes, it is. You can't realize how impactful mental health can get to people until you're a victim.
Yeah. Right. Or one of your close people.
Or one of your closest is a victim.
That's very true.
You understand? And as we're discussing during the break, that once these concerns are not addressed at a younger age, you are going to face these issues even at an adult age.
Exactly.
You're more prone to face them. Yes, you're more prone to face them. And as Martin said at some point, that if I'm not saying those ones who have not grown up with fathers, they've had a bad taste of life like you. I mean, I know him. He's good and everything. Yeah. But I mean, you said it is if
they don't get helped along the way.
If they don't get help along the way,
or get other father figure mentors who help them along the way.
So once someone is lacking a father figure in their midst, it has a far-reaching impact on their lives, unless these people are helped along the way. That's what you said. So as parents out there, fathers, I think we should urge them to be in the lives of their children much more.
Very important.
For purposes of mentorship, fellowship, purposes of how to go about life, how to treat women, how to be responsible. On different things.
And children, learn by seeing before you utter anything. They are seeing how you treat their mother. They are seeing how you treat those who pick them, probably pass by work. They are seeing how you treat your subordinates or your colleagues. All these things they are learning.
But now you see, Martin, when it gets to men, the stereotype is far much reaching onto our lives. That it is not just from our parents or our wives, even fellow men. Yes, I could be going through quite a lot of things, but you know what I'll do? I'll run to a fellow colleague who we meet at a certain kafunda, and the discussions will be, and the advice also be a hot one. Hakubatia, guma, mkasta kuba.
Wana mkube Ubasoko umuleke unonya wakaza walala.
Nakuba. So the advice is not about how to hope on how to dress or how to address such an issue to have peace, to have peace prevalent.
Depending on who you talk to.
Yes, actually, your friends are even adding more. They're adding more salt to the wound, which I think even men ourselves that if a fellow man found you crying,
the counsel we give to fellow men is.
Yes, and even a fellow man, if I found you crying, if I find you crying, I will still say, man, you're weak. You can't be crying. Why are you crying? My woman locked me out. How? In your own house? Your woman can't lock you out. Yes. Others have stereotyped to the extent that a man talking to themselves, they're actually talking to their ancestors. So, Martin, back to you. In Uganda, the mental health sector in the health sector of Uganda is extremely under-resourced. Extremely. Because if we see that we have about 53 psychiatrists in Uganda, that is about 1 to 1 million Ugandans. And the establishments, I still think, are under-resourced. I think during COVID, I remember, they said every mental health facility was turned into a general medic something.
That's true.
Yes. So it's something that even as government has not prioritized. So Mkulu Martin, in this scenario, where do you think men can run? We're going to go into when a man can realize that they have mental health challenges and they need. But before that, why do you think men can run to? When you go to police, Oh, you're crying? Muko, go back and solve your issues.
Thank you. So maybe to pick it from where I had commented that we don't want to give a blanket statement that really boys or girls who have grown up without their parents or whatever all have. There are different conditions that cause these things to happen, and most of them we have no control. Some men have abandoned responsibility. Some children lose their parents when they're really young, and they're raised up by other uncles or good people, and you know. So many conditions happen and that cause people to grow with or without parents. And it doesn't necessarily mean that all those who grow without them turn out to, but we are saying that there is a percentage that not having that parent or someone who steps in to help you that way can cause on your growth process and some of the things you can miss out. But of course there is a way to always learn when you grow and cope. And then you mentioned about the thing of mental health and how it's doing. I think from what we've been having from the talks and the Uganda Counseling Association and the mental health partners and from Butabika and all other School of Public Health and many others, when we have celebrations of the mental health day, like we normally have the conferences that take almost a week. The most recent one, I think, Ministry of Health is taking interest. From COVID and post-COVID and the depression that people had and things that happened and that required mental health. During COVID, they were looking for people who could be able to offer volunteer counseling to people because of the mental health, other things that came along with the COVID. People had lost their loved ones. You know, people who were in the medical field, who were attending to these people who were dying in face of them. They were traumatized. They were having compassion fatigue, and some of them were so much at risk. They are here with the patients. They have to go home and meet their family, and they're talking about these things of exposure and putting people at risk. So
some are losing more than one.
Exactly, and we had that all over the world was mourning, and like the acknowledgement of the need for mental health, you know, and prioritizing it came in the face of everyone. That at that level it could not be. You know, denied.
So that fact,
so that
where can you run to?
So so where we are is there is a place of professional help. I think many a times we are put in a place of where we were told this is what we were told when we were growing up, that we are supposed to manage, that we are lions. That we are heads of the jungle.
You're the rock.
But even a lion gets wounded.
Right.
And when it's wounded, it needs support. It needs. So this is the responsibility lies on us to provide for the family, to be the best husbands, to be the best fathers, to be the best. But we also we get carried away by the stress from work when, you know, needs go over what we are able to supply for. So all that stress. So men can find fellow men they can confide in, they can have as accountability partners, who they tell real things that are core in their heart. And every man needs that. You know, women, and for them, they have those places, they talk their things and bless themselves and then just go. But for us men, even among us fellow men, because some men have not known how to help fellow men, so actually they brush other men down.
Even the other men should be receptive.
Yes, they should acknowledge that actually there's a place of where a man also gets beaten down and can confidentially express to a fellow man and then find help and support and acceptance in that group and then be supported the right way. And also we should refrain from giving nonchalant kind of advice that is not helpful, that is not productive, that is not building the family of this man, that is not improving this man.
Martin, do we have a structured system within Uganda where such men can run to? I know there is Butabika, depending on the severity of your case. But do you have a structured system within our system in Uganda, within the health system in Uganda, where men can run to? You know, not everyone can run to Butabika. Butabika is only one in Uganda, and about 80-something people in Uganda live in the villages.
Yeah, and you see, the moment you mention Butabika, there is a lot of stigma that comes.
Yeah, that's associated, because when you go there and see the wing of where guys have are really at the peak of what they are struggling with, and people are going around naked, or I mean, you don't. People that is also stigmatizing in a sense. Yes. So when you mention that, I would like to say that they are private, they are mental health places. Like I would say for us, like Safe Places Uganda. I wanted to bring in safe places Uganda. I wanted to bring in the place of where, when they say when symptoms continue, seek medical seek professional. It's okay to go for a counseling session and say, I'm feeling overwhelmed. I'm starting to turn to drinking to try to numb my feelings or to forget the problems I'm going through. I am turning to smoking. I am starting to be irritable and to my children, to my wife. There's a notion that even the services are very expensive. Is that true?
Well, they are not quite expensive, but you see, for people who have not embraced them, but they are readily available. For example, we have psychosocial support at the hospital. Yes.
At your hospital?
Yes, at the hospital.
Is it free of charge?
It is available at a very, very, cheap cost. Yes, it is quite affordable, I should say. So maybe
I'm saying this. I received a call last week. I just remembered. A viewer called me that I need to see a counselor. Do you have someone that you know, someone can go to?
We have
they didn't tell me. They didn't tell me what the problem was. I gave them Bethany Hospital number, and I think they did. Yes,
trust me, they should have connected.
But apart from Safe Places, we've also had other places. You said Mental Health Uganda.
And also, I should say categorically here also that even
because I want to know how can this man reach Safe Places, personally, get help from Safe Places.
Personally, I would like also to say that people appreciate all these other things and can spend on all these other things. Someone will go out and eat a good meal at 50,000 or 100 or some more. They have a blast. But when they have a problem that needs counseling, they'll feel 70,000 is so high. They'll feel 50,000 is so high. They'll feel. So it's the kind of laissez-faire that we attach to things actually that are more meaningful to us.
Never prioritize.
They can go have a blast at a place where they spend all this money. But when it comes to things that are pertinent for the improving of the quality of their lives, that keeps them functioning well and actually being able to be productive, being able to be the kind of man they want to be, being able to be the kind of good CEO they want to be. They have games on that, because there's also that I think people in our setting do not yet appreciate the importance of professional counseling. They always still feel comfortable calling a brother and then they go and drink it off. But actually that is something that needs counseling, something that needs, if you just numbing the feelings, like anesthesia, they give you like a painkiller. When this goes away, actually the reality of the problem you're dealing with comes to you face to face, and you still need professional help.
Mr. Waswa.
Yes, sir.
With what he's telling us, he's banking so much on the technical aspect. I want to know, do you think there is need for society to lower down on the expectations, lower down on their stereotypes, or do you even think it is important for men to express their emotions?
Yeah, thank you so much. That is very, very important, because we are human beings. Yes. We are human beings that are bound to fail. We are human beings whose energies and capabilities vary from one person to another.
And we have very many limitations.
And we have limitations as well. Yes. So it would be very, unfair of you to think that I can do this so much. You see that? And then we have different backgrounds. The things that you can handle, I can't handle. You see that? Someone who has grown up in a society, in the US, for instance, might be able to handle different things that I may not, because of where I grew up from.
Would you embrace such a setting, maybe at your home, maybe at your workplace, or even at your workplace? You're an administrator. Do you have such a system that can give a cushion for your workers undergoing the same? Because you definitely have workers
we have,
undergo
and
the
actually
same.
we've given it a consideration. Yes, our staff are able to get some of these services available.
Yeah, I think that's
because
something should be
if I
considered for every
expect a staff,
organization.
you know, to do so much at work, and yet they just lost a parent, you see that, or they are struggling with a few things back home, they are not going to be productive at work, and at the end of the day, as an institution, we are going to struggle.
So you encourage even other workplaces to embrace such a system.
It
put it
must
in
be
place.
embraced.
It
Why?
needs to
Because
be done.
you see, one thing that people need to appreciate is that you're dealing with people.
Yeah. They're
Yes,
not
people
machines.
that have, they're not machines, yes. They're not a car. Even a car can fail.
You service it.
Yes,
But you see, it's not a
service-
mandatory for people to
You service it every other time.
implement
So,
such. I
it
think
is-
our call, even to the
Yes.
legislator, should be you should put such a question at workplaces to address such issues, especially to the young generation, to the young corporates, and then to the women, like we've done here at Parliament. Parliament has a whole floor of mothers breastfeeding mothers, a whole floor at Parliament.
And you know why we have-
there is a policy. I'm a tax practitioner. There's a policy that if you hire a certain percentage of people with disability, you're given a waiver on the taxes you're supposed to pay. So don't you think government should come up with such a thing when it comes to mental health? Because government spends a lot in treating people with, because Butabika is like this, right? Those are mental health issues.
It is awful, yes.
And if you're not combating this issue from the grassroots, then you're going to spend more as a government.
But you see,
so why do you encourage it in such a way? For example, what it's doing
I
to other
think
policies?
government has also been very lenient on some of the things that are leading people into some of these things. For example, recently, I saw one of the MPs saying that we need controls on alcohol consumption. Alcohol is one of the things that are, bringing about or some of these conditions. You see that. And people came up against it. You see,
I think
the
she was
association of
misunderstood.
people. She was misunderstood. But what she wanted was to put a control in a way so that people are not overly in bars till late in the night.
Mukulu Martin,
so very important.
In what you want to pick up from, after you also tell us, when does it become a serious issue? And what are some of the signs and symptoms that a man should watch out there? A man outside there should
or
look
people
out
who are around his
or
care.
people around them. What are the signs that you should look out for in someone and be like, this one needs help, or your mommy wangi needs help, or I need help personally. I need help. And since you've told us how to go about it, where to go, and who to go to, so when does it get severe? And then the signs and symptoms.
Thank you. I should also add that now, in my personal, there are times when I've had to extend services to people who say, I'm in this state, I need help, I can't afford this. I do that because to me, I look at it beyond
Pro
just,
bono.
I look at it as a ministry to serve, but also, of course, there's a cost attached to it.
Please pronounce yourself.
Yeah. There are sometimes when I have to serve people, to help people. If you walk to me and told
service.
me, I'm not able to afford, but I need help.
Sometimes very relative.
But there's no
So maybe if there's any, we'll give a thought. If there's anyone out there who needs help, who's a man, okay, and for the sake of this show, who needs help and wants to reach out to someone.
Our dear viewer, if you're out there and you have mental health issues, we have 2-3 slots. We have about 2 or 3 slots by our friend here, Martin. Just use the code. Just use the code. And you'll be served.
When you call, you say, I watched the code, and you said you can offer some help. I'll be able to. And one of the things I'm trying to work on, this is probably, I pray to God that really it works and we can have very many working around Kampala and even outside Kampala. Developing men's support groups. We need to establish those and we can be able to meet as men and talk about things that pain us and find solutions confidentially as help and support on how we can be able to manage. But let me pick it up from where I said. You mentioned that...
in 2 minutes.
Yes. Until we get to a place where actually we appreciate that vulnerability is a core principle to emotional strength, and that is at the base or the strength of masculinity.
True.
Like masculinity doesn't make us void of feelings and pains when these things happen to us, going through traumas and grief process when we lose loved ones or when we lose a job, the pressure that comes with that, not knowing how we're going to provide for our families.
So
we go through these things.
There are various layers under masculinity that we need to unearth.
Exactly.
Yes.
It doesn't make us like robots that,
and that is the topic. Unmasking
exactly.
manliness.
So that is masculinity means that we appreciate that we are humans also. But we have been God-given this responsibility role as a man, that when you're a man in the family, you're head, you're priest, you have all this. But then you're still a human being. Something that pains someone because of a certain thing, it pains you equally. But maybe we express ourselves differently. We're not calling out men to go wail around the house or weep. We're talking about appreciating, walking to a fellow man and say, but I lost someone who's so dear to me and this is so painful. I lost a job yesterday. I'm at home. I don't know what to tell my wife where we're going to be getting money. The children are going to school. You can talk to someone. You can go for a counseling meeting and even say, I don't have even money to afford the counseling session, but I need help. How am I supposed to carry on with life?
But realize it is a very thin line between being too weak and also undergoing a serious mental issue. Because you find some men, wife is asking, katukoze tutya, nange simanyi.
Anyway, anyway, but there are things you can, and there's some of these are like general things that really all people struggling with mental health issues are really can be looked at as signs. People get irritable. Husbands get irritable around the house. Things that were simple and normal to respond to. Someone just fires. Usually they complain of stresses. They are stressed at work. They reach home. They are stressed. Then they displace their anger, disappointment at work or whatever. They reach home. They kick the children. Of course, they put it to the weaker. Or so
that is a major sign.
Yes, then there are things like loss of concentration. Maybe they are not concentrating anymore. You're trying to run a conversation about things that are pertinent around the house.
Is isolation
about
part
the
of
children? Yes, some of them try to isolate. They no longer want to be with the people.
So when does it get severe that now this one we need a counselor? Because that friend that called me, I think it was a self-discovery that now I need a counselor. But how do you reach that point and realize that now I need a counselor?
But Philemon, when you say severe, is we don't want to wait for people until they drop dead. Already those signs of sleeplessness.
That's true.
Those signs of loss of concentration. Those signs of wanting to be isolated. Those things of hearing someone stay longer out, or mention randomly that they're going to. They're stressed about something. They want to drink something. I want to drink something. So, those outbursts of anger, those,
and to be mentally down, you don't have to necessarily be wrong or right.
That's true.
You could be wrong, but you're mentally down. Isn't it? Mr. Livingstone, Mukolo Livingstone, Baswa. So, how do we avoid reaching, because he tried to dodge severity of the cases, which is very important. He doesn't want us to reach that level. So how then do we avoid, in just a minute, how do we avoid reaching that extent?
How do we avoid reaching that
even based on your personal experiences? Because I believe you're mentally okay. Your mental health is...
I'm mentally okay.
So what have you done? What have you done that a man out there can pick from you?
Yeah, one of the things that you need to do is, first of all, you need to get to acceptance. There's some things in life that you'll have to accept.
Denial is a big problem.
When you live in self-denial, when you've lost a job, please accept
that you've lost a job.
Yes, and then understand that that is not the end of the world.
Is that self-actualization, self-realization, something like that?
I think it's to do with self-awareness. When you accept something and then work to see how you deal with it.
Deal with it, yes. Okay. Exactly. After you've accepted it, just as you said, look at how best do I get out of here. Yes. Because trust me, whenever you get into something, there's always a way out. Only that we just don't want to explore ways of how to deal with a problem. But there is always a solution to something. But also just make sure that when you have issues, you are around people, because we all need support. Iron sharpens iron. Yes. So the more you isolate yourself, the more you're going to have issues. So make sure you are, with the guys around.
In a nutshell, the advice to our wives, that what
but
advice
also
do
the
you
women
have for
out
their
there,
men?
yes, the women out there, especially around this time when we are taking back children to school, please support your spouse. Support your spouse. If your spouse comes back and they explain how they're dealing with issues here and there. Please be part of what is happening in their lives, and then deal with it together. Trust me, if they feel your support, emotional support, they are going to run through to the very end. But you see, the times we are in are extremely hard. It is a hot January.
And if you start comparing your man with others.
You see that, yes. Don't run after loans that you can't pay. Don't do this. There are decisions I've had to take. You see that there's a decision I wanted to take, and my wife told me, do you know what? No, let's let that be. No.
Good. Okay.
It was a decision.
In just a second, tell us the technical way of how one can avoid a mental breakdown.
Well,
he has given us a general perspective. So
I think one has to constantly do checks.
Good.
Counseling should not wait until when someone has broken down.
Yeah.
You need a support
Prevention
system.
is better than cure.
Yes, you need a support system. That support system works all throughout. It's not only applied, you don't look for it when you're breaking down. It's a group of people that you confide in, that support you, that you also support them, and invest in meaningful friendships. I think I'm a kind
sports, doing exercise, part of them, and quite a number of other things.
Christian music, go to church.
Our dear viewers.
But you see, finally, there is
Thank you so much. Thank you for watching us. It's been quite a very important topic. Very important that you've delved deep into issues of how to help fellow men, as the code goes by that. So, our dear viewers, next Monday we're going to have very important topics with very important distinguished guests. Be on the code, don't run away, and don't run away on Bethany TV, please. Watch our subsequent shows and support in one way or another. Thank you. Till we meet again next Monday. My name is Philemon. I sign out.